And we have the celebrity of the session today, Padmini Balaram ji,
Thank you
Professor,
so much.
uh, such a long experience in the field of design in so many different areas of design. And her PhD is on this topic itself. And through her PhD, she contributed a new area to design studies, design field, history of design motifs. Earlier in design field, they used to have a field called design history. If you look at all the existing literature on design history, it is always about designers, various designers, and all of them are recent designers, contemporary designers, and their history. But none of the design literature covers ancient designs and ancient design motifs and their history, their travel, their migration. Professor Padmini Balaram, currently the professor at Shantiniketan now, uh, has studied many different areas of design, but for her topic here, she is going to deal with the swastika and lotus motifs, uh, their connection with Hindu sculptures, and all those aspects of design motifs. Professor Padmini Balram, over to you.
Yeah. Thank you very much for inviting me for this conference. And I have also learned quite a bit, and I'm so happy to see these last few presentations also on textiles. And I'm happy that what I had started years back is now coming into the categories of many people are wanting to work on it. So I will now start my presentation. Okay, so this is my paper, which basically, I would like to apologize. I have not put lotus here because it was getting too big. So that's why we discussed with you, I discussed with you, and then we kept it only to swastika. So actually, this particular project I started long back. Very first, my work with all these designs of textiles and all, I started documenting it from 1976 with Maindargi, and then I saw the Rudraksha motifs there represented. That is tons of Maindargi. I did my first documentation in 1976, and after that, I also did on kalamkaris of Sri Kalahasti, and basically kalamkaris of Andhra Pradesh for Lotika Vardarajan's book, South Indian Tradition of Kalamkari. So so I had all this symbolism that was coming and all. When I was traveling for my Japan Foundation Fellowship in Japan and later in Asian Scholarship Foundation Fellowship to China and Korea, I saw that everywhere in Buddhist temples, all these swastika, lotus, everything was represented. Also, I started seeing it in textiles. I started seeing it so there were so many similarities. So I wanted to do work. So my next fellowship in Japan Foundation was movement of textiles and textile motifs between India, China, Korea, and Japan. And then, that was, basically trade of that textiles and then its impact on Japanese Vasarasa of Indian chins. Then I see it, I took it up as for the symbols of my, symbols of these religious symbols. I took it up in my PhD thesis. And then this is what is one of the topic that I said. My PhD thesis covered swastika and then also lotus, then also the cloud which went from India, came back, went to China, came back from China, and all that back and forth was happening. So this is now I'll start with swastika. So then this particular one, how swastika originated. There are many theories about this, that the origin of swastika, people say that it started with cross, and then there are various dots, and then there are a direction given. And as per Thomas Wilson, who has written a book on swastika, the swastika first appearance of swastika was apparently in Orient among the forerunners of preceders of the Brahmins and Buddhists. Now, at all events, the religious and symbolic significance was attached to it by the earliest known people in this region. He also mentions that in Bronze Age, swastika appears internationally and was used as symbol as well as ornament. Now, so swastika, this is how it is like it started during Neolithic age. Is one of the sketch that I found. Now, the origin, there are various forms related to swastika. Basically, it starts like a whirl, something which is moving, it has got the direction, it has got the movement, and then you can see various type of whirl type of a form that are associated with this kind of spiral forms are associated with the swastika, the beginning of the swastika. Now, then this is people say swastika is an Aryan symbol. So is it really an Aryan symbol? That's what I am trying to show you in this particular presentation. So this is, as swastika is found almost in all parts of the world, it is given rise to many interpretations. Hence, it is also difficult to determine the origin of swastika, due to which there are many theories and interpretations on its origin. As shown in following chart, there is a chart next to it, I mean afterwards, that there is a chart, the migration, thus symbols, by Count Globlet de Alviela. The swastika sign originated in Trod in 13th century BCE and earlier, and it reached India in 3rd century BCE from Asia Minor, as well as directly from Caucasus, and from India it reached China between 2nd century BCE and 2nd century CE, between 2nd century BCE and CE, and then from there, and it also reached Tibet directly from India around 3rd century CE, and it reached Japan and China, I mean from China between 3rd to 8th century BCE. Now, another person says, there is another European scholar says that that is Michael Zigrodsky, a Polish scholar, that swastika migration took place in following order. So, like in prehistoric area, it was in India and Bactria, and then Cyprus and Rhodes, and then it went to North Europe, Central Europe, South Europe, and Asia Minor. In Christian area, it reached Greek and Roman epoch, numismatics, and then Gaul and numismatics, and then Byzantine, then Merovingian, and this Merovingian and Carlovingian, and then Germany, and then Poland and Sweden, and then it reached further ahead. So like that, it started moving. I can't. Okay, and then Great Britain. Now this is the this particular one is that particular chart that he had prepared, and which says that the swastika started in Trod in 13th century. Now I say that now there are Indian scholars like R.P. Garg is in his article in archaeological this thing, it says in page 159 that originally swastika would appear to have been in an early Aryan atmospheric device of both rain and lightning phenomena appertaining to god Indra, subsequently or collaterally developing possibly into swastika or sacred fire churn in India, and at a still later period in Greece, adopted rather as a solar symbol or converted about 650 BCE into meander or the key pattern. Now, some believe that present representation of Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh, basically creator, preservator, and destroyer, respectively, is actually presented by swastika. Now, these are some of the swastikas travel and mention in various Puranas. So you will see swastika seems to have spread taking root of bronze, and that's what they say. So the earliest literary reference in India to name swastika was made by Padmini. This is as per Max Muller. mid 4th century BCE, in his book Old Grammar, where he mentions swastika karna for the cattle which are marked using swastika. And they are, and in such a case, R is at pronounced, not to be pronounced as A. So it is not swastika karna, it is swastik karna. So whenever in Indian literature we say those, they spell swastik with K after that A, and they keep saying swastika, swastika, we always say swastik. Then there is in Ramayana, that is again written by foreigner, Ramayana, it says that Bharata selects a ship marked with sign to swastika, and then of the sign of swastika. And Varahimihira in Bharata Samhita mentions certain buildings called swastika and Nandavarta, but their outline does not correspond with the sign of swastika exactly, sign and form of swastika exactly. Some stupas, however, are said to have been built on the plan of swastika. And then there are B.B. Mishra in his article Polity and Agni Purana has mentioned swastika is one of the 8 type of yogic seeds mentioned in Vajra Vaiyasmita Shiva in of Shiva Purana. And then yogic seed is mentioned in Matsya Purana, and scholar Fred Pincourt has referred, that is quoted in Akhtar, and scholar Fred Pincourt has referred to swastika as reunion of 4 castes of Hindus. And so each arm being of the 4 is one caste of Hindus. Now, this is basically a lot of mentions of these things. Now, spread of swastika in India. So swastika is not only found in Asia, but also all over the world since early ages. In Bronze Age, as I mentioned earlier, they said that it has gone in regions of all over India. Now, some believe swastika spread, like as I said, as Aryan people, but first appearance of swastika probably is in the Orient. That is said, belief of that swastika is an Aryan symbol is not completely true. And now I will say why I say that. And it could be seen in the evidence provided from the next slide onwards. Now, this is the early evidence of Indian swastika. These are the seals which were excavated from Indus Valley civilization and are preserved now at British Museum. Now, this is a kind of, there was a whole panel which has got like people, and then these are the seals which are in front and the back, both you can see. And there is one, this is a swastika symbol, seal also. So it was made in gold, and then I have seen also some seal like that in the museum in India, in either National Museum or Prince of Wales Museum in Bombay, or National Museum of Delhi. I don't remember exactly where. And from there I have also taken this picture. And then meaning and symbolism of word swastika. So now it is true that actually swastika already existed in Indus Valley civilization, that was much before Aryans ever entered India. So swastika did not come by India, it was not brought to India by Aryans. That is proved very correctly. Now, meaning and symbolism of word swastika. So swastika is considered a sacred symbol in Hindu, Buddhist and Jain religion of India. Even in the most ancient times, swastika was regarded as auspicious sign. The name swastika has been derived from the word su, meaning well, asti meaning being, to be, or it is. So ka is a suffix added, and this is written by Jamnada Saptar in a book Swastika, preface of it. And then that is meaning. There is a swastika is it is also known as swastika, means sign of benediction or of God augury. And then this is also like in you will get so many references also in Buddhism also later. Now these are 8 auspicious sign objects. Now this is, you can see this swastika, and this is swastika meander. And I'm talking about those. So meaning and symbolism of a swastika also includes, now normal swastika is like this. When it is turned opposite, it is called swastika, it is pronounced as, and this is swastika meander, which is going in circular form. And then one can only say that swastika should perhaps be left-handed if it denotes polar revolution, and right-handed as in Buddhism it symbolizes the course of the sun. Now this is Hindu, Jain and Buddhist swastika forms. So then this is Hindu swastika, and it has usually have these 4 dots. Now then there is Nandavrata, a third sign of which is on the footprint of Buddha, which you saw in the previous slide, and that is this kind of swastika with the outer lines. And then there is Jaina swastika, which is here. Now the next slide shows you the formation of swastika in Jainism, first, second and third step. They create a circle, then cut off these portions and make a swastika, and then extend it like this, and then it becomes a Jain swastika. So then this is the symbolism in swastika. Now there is a Mr. Virchand Gandhi, a Hindu and Jain disciple, told Mr. Wilson, who met him during the World's Parliament of Religion at Chicago in 1893. He said 4 arms of swastika represent 4 grades of existence of soul, and these are archaic and protoplasmic life. Then there is second is plant and animal life. Third is human life, and fourth is celestial life. So all kinds of life in the world, nether world, human world, and the Swarga. So this is what is told. And then there is a use of swastika. I will now go. Swastika could be seen in architecture. Now this is a panel which I have taken photograph of Ranini Vav Patan in Gujarat, which establishes that this particular pattern was of swastika. There are this, you can see the swastika here. The pattern is like here in swastika, and it looks, when put together, it looks like 4 sides of the negative portion shows more prominently. And here is a swastika here, and 4 swastika and the lotus in between are placed together. Now this particular vow, there is I was Patan being a center for the textiles, and especially of Patan patola weaving, very famous patolas. I used to keep going there many times as a student while I was at NID, studying at NID. Starting from 1974, I started going there. 1973 was my first foundation year. From 74, I took up textiles as a specialty. And then one time when I went there, the weavers of Patan said, in Gujarati, they told me that there is some, they're excavating the site over there, because there was one farmer who was cultivating, and he found a very nice work of art, and he showed it to Archaeological Survey of India, and they said, oh, we must excavate. So his land was bought over, and so I went there to see, and the place was just a field. I should have put that photograph of the whole Vav, and it is a marvelous place which is excavated now very beautifully. Not a single sculpture is bad now, because it is just recently excavated. It is so fresh and live. And that shows that. Now this is swastika and Jain decorative panel. This particular piece is at Indology Museum in Ahmedabad, and you can see the swastika being used here. You can see swastika meander used in Jain panel also over here. And then there is another swastika over here that you can see, and it is repeating here. It is repeating here, and you can see that. Now, amazingly, I found one while doing my research, swastika formation of a fort. This is by Birodkar. He had written something about it. And then he says in Vastu, swastika was used. And this fort, these are the four dots which are the gates. And the reason of making such a fort was that it was so difficult because to find a way in the fort, because if you go, you see, it stops, they can't get in. If you see this, it will stop here. So this formation is to trap the people who come and attack, like the enemies who are attacking the fort. So the use of swastika as an auspicious symbol, of course, is with our, I mean, culture. Really, it is in our everyday life. I remember my mother doing swastika on, we call it umbro in Gujarati. So that is a wooden thing on the door where you are kind of a small parapet kind of a thing on the door where you kind of climb it and then get enter into the house. So she would every day do swastika and a dot, swastika and a dot, like a with kumkum every day during the puja, after the puja. It is also used as poo, like a flower, as in Tamil they say, na, poo kolam. And this is swastika used everywhere in poo kolam in Tamil Nadu and South India, also at other places like Telugu, Andhra, and everywhere. That is used for doing celebrating all the festivals and auspicious occasions. Um, this is like pot, earthen pot with mango and all. We use it for the wedding ceremony with, and also for pujas with swastika dots here. It is also for puja. And this is how it has been imbibed in our culture. The use of swastika is so common everywhere. Now, I just want to show you few of these slides, just how it was reflected in is just 2 3 slides to compare it, though it is a very big thing. I have not included this part in my write-up. This is in Amaravati. You can see the swastika here in the foot of the Buddha. Now, in Buddha statues in China or in Japan, you would see Buddha having a swastika on his chest, while the Buddha of the in India, wherever sculptures I've seen, most of them have either they have no symbol there on the chest or they have lotus as a symbol on the chest. Same is happening in Jaina. Mahavira has lotus on his chest. And in Japan, it is also used apart from on the chest, also as a pedestal. On the pedestal, the swastika is made. Now, this is from also a wall panel in the temples as well as in the King Palace in Korea. I had seen this kind of swastika patterns. And Koreans said that this kind of swastika pattern is made by us, I mean, innovated by us based on swastika, a geometrical pattern in 13th century CE. So I said, no, that's not right. I already showed you this slide ahead that in this case, in 1048, Solanki queen, that Ranini Vav already has that kind of swastika pattern that you can see in textiles. Now, I couldn't find much of a textiles of India having swastika pattern because it is not used in swastika pattern in textiles because the gods should not be placed, and it is very auspicious sign on the textiles which are wearable. And that is the belief in Hinduism very strongly. So it's difficult to find that sign in textiles of India. But this is the tribal textiles from China. This is the textile from in center is the Tibetan person, a Buddhist having swastika pattern. Here it is at a background, and this is a marumon, that is a circular pattern. Maru in Japanese, in Japan, this is black and white one is, and also plenty of patterns are there which I'm not showing you right now. So swastika in the West, I wanted to add to show how it is different. Our swastika is so different then, and its use is also so different in than the swastika used by Hitler. So, as mentioned earlier, swastika had already traveled to the West in prehistoric era. From the Indus Valley civilization, we can find it. Archaeologists discovered swastika in the site of Troy and associated it with my ancient migration of Indo-Europeans, Aryans. After consulting two leading Sanskrit scholars, Emily Burnoff and Max Muller, if you see, these are all the scholars of much, much later date. By early 20th century, swastika was regarded as symbol of good luck and auspicious not only in Eastern world but worldwide. And you can see variation of European swastikas. And European swastika with all this evaluation came to this kind of things. Now, right facing swastika and how it rotates, and then right facing swastika may be basically described as clockwise. Now, this is the I mean this is the finish for heart of Tursas is the Tusherdian or heart of walrus is the ancient symbol for protection against curse. All known swastikas in wood figurine made in Finland before 1700 are these symbols. So they have taken the center part of this as a swastika. So then this is the swastika gain. The swastika gained importance in European culture in the 19th century, primarily in the field of comparative ethnology and Oriental studies. Madame Blavatsky saw the significance of the symbol and incorporated it into the seal of Theosophical Society to signify the harmony of universal movement. According to Godwin, so innocent were the good luck associations of swastika that during World War One it was used as an emblem of British war saving scheme, appearing on coupon and stamps. Then the absence of swastika symbol from Egypt, Chaldea, Assyria, and Phoenicia led the ethnologists to believe that the swastika was an Aryan sun symbol. But it is much later, kind of as I showed you, it is something like people started believing it was Aryan symbol only during the time of Max Muller and all that much in something like 18th and 19th century. So the Nazis used the swastika was used as an official emblem of Nazi party, a use sometimes continued by modern neo-Nazis. So Nazi use of swastika was derived from earlier German Volksnationalist movement for which swastika was a symbol of Aryan identity, a concept that came to be equated by theorists like Alfred Rosenberg with a Nordic master race originating in Northern Europe. The swastika remains the core symbol of neo-Nazi group since then. So then, why did Hitler use swastika? When creating the flag for his movement, Hitler, I mean, uh, one second. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, when creating flag for his movement, Hitler sought to use four main aspects: the colors white, red, and black, and the symbol of swastika. He is quoted as saying, "As National Socialists, we see our program in our flag. In red, we see social idea of movement. In white, the nationalistic idea. In swastika, the mission of struggle for the victory of the Aryan man, and by the same token, the victory of idea of creative work, which as such always has been and always will be anti-Semitic." This is his own version. And then the swastika was also comprehended as a symbol of creating acting life as a race emblem of Germanism. So Swastika
Padmini ji,
existed, just
uh,
last one, last slide it is.
you might have seen the reached the conclusion. Okay,
Uh,
okay, thank you.
Conclusion: Swastika existed before Aryan migration took place. In India, it is excavated from Indus Valley civilization sites, and swastika, which Hitler used, was to cash on his good influences, but it was in different direction, derived from Europe, maybe after Aryans entered Europe. Looking at the philosophy and symbolism behind swastika and its wide artistic use for centuries of human civilization, the Western negative influence may become easier to move too mellowed down, and that's the reason I've added both these parts. And the actual meaning is thus very important for people to understand their heritage, which a symbol like swastika opens to all of us. Okay, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, and if you have any questions.
There are no questions, but there are some comments by
Okay.
Veera Minal, who is saying that she seems to have old references with regard to Aryan migration. And
Okay.
yeah, it is true that the Aryan invasion theory is now very much countered, and no longer are people using words like Aryan invasion or Aryan migration into India. There is a contending theory which is also called as Aryans are originally from India, and the whole Indus Valley civilization idea is also now outdated completely. Now there is this theory of Saraswati civilization, and this Saraswati civilization is considered to be a pan-Indian culture, and more excavation sites from Dholavira and other parts of
Yeah.
India
Yeah.
are coming out. It is not limited to Harappa and the Harappan seals or something like that. And Indus Valley seals are also not conclusively deciphered to be non-Aryan. If it is non-Aryan, then Aryan should be from outside. So the decipherment of seals is not completed. Unless the decipherment of seals is
Yeah.
completed, the Dravidian identity or any other non-Aryan identity of Indus Valley is not conclusive. So probably in these areas,
One need to work on it then more,
yeah, yeah,
because now there is a lot of new excavations have taken place, which are
yes, and there are many new
bringing out
developments
lot
in
of
this
more
area.
details. And I would certainly like to, who has said he has got the reference. I would love to know that.
Yeah, yeah, please.
Arians.
That is what one of the participants has commented, that she needs to update her knowledge in all these areas. This is all outdated stuff and all that. That's
Okay, who
okay.
has said?
That's okay. That's only for the part of Aryan thing that probably was not very necessary for the whole paper.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, but the other things of the widespread use of swastika and different motifs and how they are connected, how it has been used in Rani Kabau, and how it has been used in temple sculptures, and how it migrated, how it is used in Vedic culture, Buddhism and Jainism. All these are very interesting additions made by Professor Padmini ji.
Those were the, yeah, those were the part of my PhD.
Yeah. Basically,
And
that is
this
focus of your
this was just added later on.
yeah. So the focus of your paper is excellent, and the areas of digression into the other things like Aryan invasion and other things, where probably you don't even claim an expertise in that area. Let us leave them, and probably that is what the participants wanted to say. Okay, yeah, thank you very much, Padmini ji, for this wonderful presentation of your well researched, decades old long and thorough research on this topic, and we are benefited by your extensive and rich research on the topic. Thank you very much.